Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 59 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and alongside me this time is the Frankie Kazarian to my Christopher Daniels. It's Craig, everyone. What's going on, Craig?
Hello. I'm very well. 1 a.m., but I'm ready.
He's ready.
Impact was insane.
Yes. So as you can see, Max is an advertisement for Bound for Glory. He'll be kind of missing some Saturdays here and there, so if anyone listening to this has a show of their own or just interested in Impact Wrestling, hey, chat's already starting. Awesome. And want to be a co-host, we'll be looking for some certain dates as well, because Max has season tickets to college football. So, hey, can't blame him. So Craig is going to be here today, voicing his opinion today, and that'll be exciting. It'll be exciting, as he said, that we have a fire episode that we just came off of. Not going to ask Matt what's he watching, so what do I ask you, Craig? What's the numbers? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really see them, but I guess we're going to, yes, it's me, it's the MIC, Craig, aka Mr. Impact, for your TNAIW channel. Once again, we are live, and of course, as if you didn't know already, you can find us here, you can find us there, you can find us down there, everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Sounder, Spotify, and wherever else you podcast.
Yeah, yes. So as Craig has alluded to, I will read the numbers as they they are a bit small in many different ways, physically and unfortunately this week's numbers down in general. But the chat is popping. Thank you guys for coming back. Yes, we are a bad influence. But we are at 2817 on Twitter. That's a gain of 35. We love our Twitter group. We're aiming for 3,000 before Bound for Glory, so 183 more before Bound for Glory. I know we can do it. We have 74 on podcast, which is down 11, and 73 on YouTube, which is down 37, so down 48 altogether, but coming in waves. Maybe it's a topic, maybe it's us, who knows? Maybe it's the time of day, but all I know is that Impact is rising, Bound for Glory is coming, so I expect those to rise as well and get back to where we are. But 219, so we're staying even there, not losing anyone, but not gaining. Our goal for there is 300, so the 300 club, 3,000 club. 300 club, 3,000 club. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't subscribe to us, as 37% of our watchers don't, just hit that button. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a reason to keep doing this and staying motivated. All right, we do have power rankings. So Craig, do you want to throw it over that since we have a lot to talk about?
Yep, so power rankings from this week's Impact Access TV. Agree, disagree, let us know. If you want to join the Power Rankings Committee, once again, just hit us up. I'm sure we can add you to the Power Rankings Committee. So, without further ado, here are the Power Rankings.
Awesome. Here we go.
Hi everyone, this is Tatia with Rangers of Wrestling, and here's your TNAIW Top 10 for this week. Number 10, the Reunited Desi Hit Squad. Number 9, New Japan's Finn Juice. Number 8, The Soldiers, Willie Mack and Rich Swann. Number 7, Hardcore Country, Mickey James. Number 6, Bullet Club. Number 5, Champ, Deonna Purrazzo. Number 4, The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Number 3, The Inevitable Ace Austin. Number 2, World Champion Christian Cage. Number 1, Bound for Glory, Josh Alexander. That was your top 10 Impact Wrestlers of the week. Do you agree? Let us know at TNAIW channel. Back to you guys.
Oh, thank you. Hey, she just popped in the chat too. Power rankings. Yes, if you want to join, as Craig said, hit us up at TNAIW channel, and you can add us there. If someone told me that these were if I just saw this video 2 years ago, I'd punch the person in the throat that showed it to me. I'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Way 2 years ago, we're getting Christopher Daniels back and
Right.
3 members of Bullet Club.
Insane. Christian is our world champion. Josh Alexander on the rise. Just mind-blowing. But thank you for doing that. She always kills it, and she always has another shirt for every episode, which is so dope. And she's going to Bound for Glory, so give her some love. Rangers of Wrestling. You can see her name there, the spelling and everything. Just put an @ in front of it, and that's Twitter. All right, Craig. Speaking of that, let's get into it.
Oh yes, it's time for those hot topics. Kicking off, of course, with this week's Impact on Access TV and Impact Insiders on YouTube. We started off with Josh Alexander relinquishing the X Division Championship and officially becoming number contender for the Impact World Championship. David Finlay defeated Hikuleo. Not before Alpha Phantasmo made his return to help Bay and Hikuleo beat the holy crap out of Finn Juice. Rohit Raju defeated Chelsea Green with the help of the returning Raj Singh. Rich Swann and Willie Mack defeated VSK and Brian Myers thanks to a mistake by Sam Beal. Still a good hair though.
Always.
Mickey James and Diana Perrazzo had a little brawl, pretty big brawl, resulting in Scott D'Amore making it official for Bound for Glory that Mickey James will be facing Diana Perrazzo for the Knockouts Championship. Of course, we had an incredible Swingers Palace, which is probably the highlight of the night. Josh Alexander in the main event defeated Ace Austin. Not before Ace and Fulton to start to beat down on Josh and Christian Cage come out to help. But of course, the big moment of that segment, big moment of the entire show, the fallen angel Christopher Daniels returned to Impact Wrestling after 12 years. Man. Yeah. That's insane. Thoughts, feelings, and highlights.
Yeah, they kept saying 7, so maybe 7 years ago he wrestled. 2014. That sounds about right, I guess. But yeah, to your point, it's just. So even to the power rankings, I mean, Raj being back, Mickey James being there, Christian being there, the Bullet Club being there, ELP, Hikuleo, Finn Juice. I mean, these are people that are on our roster page now, as most of them that I just mentioned. So it's just a weird time that I'm just going to embrace and enjoy. But I want to mention some things that I think they're doing right. I do want to say an Impact on Access TV, since obviously that's the subject, and I don't want to get too far into Bound for Glory. I see 3 and 5. We'll be talking about that. But I want to say that even though the match quality, and it wasn't horrible by any means. I mean, we got to see Josh and Ace, who I think, once again, I said last week, are our AJ Styles and Samoa Joe of the future. I think that's one of those matches that won't get old. I have a few matches like that. I could watch Eddie versus Moose all the time. I could watch Sammy versus Eddie. I can watch. I could watch these two, and I think that'll be the way when Bay is up there as well, and same with Trey. So I think this episode was a lot about building for Bound for Glory, and the match quality, as I said, was average or to better, or above. But what really sold it for me, obviously Daniels coming out at the end does not hurt the cause. But this is the first time in a very long time, at least to me, that I felt that consecutively, including the Impact Plus specials, they're continuously building to that next payday, right? So they're always advertising with these Plus specials, and they're always now, especially above average, and that's an advertisement for Impact Plus. Get that money. Same with YouTube Insiders. Now you're selling Bound for Glory, and I love it. It's just so nice to see that this Bound for Glory, and we've only named technically 4 matches. Once again, we'll get to it, but they're building from day one. I really dig that. I'm really excited for it, and this whole show felt like a story to hype all of it, not just say, oh, by the way, we're going to be in this match. I think every match is going to have a purpose, and we'll get more into that. But yeah, so a couple things I want to mention. You mentioned Sam Beal. Love Sam Beal. Thank you, Sam, for all that you do by retweeting and liking and having great hair. He pays us to say that. But no, Brian Myers' group. I said it last time, or no, maybe I said on Twitter. I feel like Brian is starting his own Diamonds in the Rough. That's a TNA throwback for anyone who doesn't know. Simon Diamond had a stable, and he would take people like Elix Skipper, David Young, all these guys that just needed another spotlight or a refreshing, and he would take them and put them in a stable. And that's kind of what this feels like. This doesn't need people who need refreshing. It's just people who need to be seen, right? So I really dig what Myers is doing. I saw some people call it the flock, but huge Raven mark, so I can't give him all that. But even with, see, I'm jumping all around, but I'm so happy. The point I was going to mention was that the booking has changed drastically, it feels like, in the past few months. Once again, we always say we don't know if it was Don being head of creative and now leaving and now it's letting other people have chances. I don't know. But all I know is the consistency, the importance of everything they do. There is a Knockouts tag team match next week, right? If I'm not mistaken, to see who faces Decay at a Impact Plus special. This would have not happened months ago, let alone a year or two ago. So these are really bright spots that really get my gives me that little tingle in my loins, as they say. And I really like where we're going. There's nothing I can complain about. ELP coming out was a really nice surprise for me because I avoid spoilers as much as possible. We'll avoid spoilers as we talk from here on out. And if you watch State of Impact on Tuesdays, we avoid spoilers as well, but give some hints there. So, yeah, it was nice because I thought, I figured another member's going to come. Not to get into Bound for Glory again, but it's kind of hard not to. Was it me that suggested, or did we all agree on that we thought a 4-on-4 Bullet Club versus something would happen? I mean, we thought Elite maybe, or something like that. But for me, it's looking like it's going to be that Bullet Club's going to gain to 4. Who is that fourth one? I thought it was going to be Ishimori and Jay White. It's kind of looking like it's going to be ELP and one of them. So we'll see who it is there. And I think we're going to get a 4-on-4 with Finjuice. The question is, and the more exciting question is, who's with Finjuice? So we could get to that, but I love this storyline. I love that, unlike AEW, and I won't shit on them or shit on us for how it was booked, but Alex Zane as well. What a mind-blowing to see him in that graphic. And I'm so glad everyone said, well, they need to, advertise all the matches. Please don't, because I'm sure there's a couple other surprises in those 3-on-3s, and I would really like to see who they are as they come out, because the Alex Zane thing popped me. But yeah, so even with the Bullet Club thing and Finjuice, are they really utilizing Impact talent? Chris Bay's at getting elevated, right? But besides for that, the other 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in this storyline that's been for the past few minutes are all New Japan. And it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like, WWE where they tape the purple ropes and here comes 205 Live. This feels like it's just a flowing, organic relationship, and I fucking dig it. I dig it. I don't care if they stay in their own little bubble. Bay's getting the most out of that. I'm stoked. I'm going to let you go on this, and then if you bring something back up, I'll chime back in. But there's just so many little things for everybody. I didn't even mention Drama King's little segments. Just so many cool things they're doing for everyone that I really dig.
Right. Yeah, Impact. Like I said, the match quality was fine. Was the best we've seen from them, but it's you can't expect pay-per-view level matches on every show. So, I mean, the surprise roll-ups are getting a bit too much.
Fair.
I will say that. But, like I said, it's TV, as long as it... Like, with the Rohit and Chelsea match, that needed a roll-up. That felt more like it needed to roll up more. And then Raj Singh coming back, great to see. He's healthy, awesome. You know, it's so much. Obviously, Swingers Palace has to get a mention because of how much of a genius Johnny Swinger is.
That's what I forgot.
He's insane. I mean, and awesome to see VSK back. As you know, I'm a huge VSK mark. And I mean, go back to the matches. Yeah, I mean, like I said about El Fantasma, I popped so huge for that because of three members of Bullet Club are in Impact, and it's they may not be the biggest three in that faction over in Japan, but over here in States or in like States and all the areas Impact cover, people know who they are, and people know it's Bullet Club, and that's the important thing. It's Bullet Club in Impact Wrestling. After all the shit that went down between Impact and New Japan, they trust in Impact with one of probably their biggest faction of all time, essentially.
It's crazy.
You know, it's mind blowing. Yeah, it's so much happened. Obviously, Christopher Daniels coming back.
Yeah,
I knew about it beforehand. I did see a spoiler, but it didn't ruin the moment for me. I still nearly had a tear in my eye because it was just a huge moment.
Yeah, so you just hit on two things that I didn't talk about at all, and if you have more, brush me off and keep talking about it. But I do want to mention that you're 100% right. The drastic relationship change from when Scott D'Amore took over to where we are now with them is insane. It's surreal, but it's insane. Now, do I think the Bullet Club's the strongest they've ever been? No, I think Impact is the right group to refresh it. I think they're doing that. Chris Bay adds whole nother level of things. So, and I said this months ago, and I'll say it again. Everyone's like, "Oh, Bullet Club, aren't we over that?" No, because here's why. I told you guys this before. I'll say it again for our new listeners and maybe those who forgot. I was walking in a grocery store. Long story short, wearing a Bullet Club shirt. I've worn an Impact Wrestling shirt probably 6 times before that. I'm in a small town. Well, more or less. Never have gotten a recognition on any Impact shirt. Now, could they say, "Oh, it's just a black shirt with some logo"? Okay, sure. The first time I wore my Bullet Club shirt, someone tried to give me the too sweet. Or they actually did. Excuse me. I take that back. He put it up and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I said, "Oh yeah, cool, man." And I kept pushing my way. Those little moments connect people. When you can bond over something. If someone says, "Hey, do you watch Impact?" "Oh, fuck no," some people say. "Oh, do you like the Bullet Club?" "Hell yeah." So it just adds another level to... I really believe this is a show that has something for everyone. It has comedy, which I'll talk about now. It has great wrestling. It has, dark stuff. It has light stuff. It's just so good. But as far as what you were saying with Johnny Swinger, man, segment of the year, throw the bag at this guy. I was so... And this is why I love Impact Management. I was so pissed when I heard they signed him after Johnny Impact left. I was like, Johnny signs again? Oh, Swing. Oh, shit. And this is I'm a New York Connection fan. I'm a Swinger and Diamond fan. No, I don't know what their name was prior to that, if they even had one. And I was a fan of him everywhere he went. But I really am so happy that they proved me wrong, and they put him in the perfect friggin' spot. To the people he could get away with naming that the average group can. I mean, he's dropping Pritchard and Dixie. Dixie's a babe. Bob Carter's daughter. So just great shit, man. And then, yeah, I see Sue Young there, so I want to talk about that. I threw it out in the chat group. I have no inkling other than this. I love what they're doing with her. I love that she has 2 minions that could obviously go for the tag titles, the Undead Brides. And then they keep eating souls, so which I really dig. It's an awesome way to write people off without having to do anything. The one, and I don't want to start this rumor, but I have to talk about it because I haven't talked about it besides with you. When I was at Slammiversary, Sue came out with Kimberly, and we were stoked. But she looked, and that could be anything. She looked like she gained a little weight. If she did, and it's just how she's going to look, then fuck it, cool. But I didn't think that much of it. until I started seeing these segments, she hasn't wrestled in a very long time. Now, Su Yung is one of those characters that doesn't need to, but she's been cut off from here down the whole time. So I pray two things. One, I hope she's healthy. Two, if it's a baby, I hope it's everything goes magnificently. / congratulations, Swan and her. / they better make it a fucking storyline where she's eating these souls. And Rosemary's like somebody's, whatever it's called, the baby is Bray Wyatt or something. We need this. James Mitchell, somebody, give me somebody. But it's just interesting to see how they're. And
I noticed that whenever there's anything physical going on, she's quite a way away from it. She's not getting involved. She's controlling it, but she's not involved in it. She's quite a distance away. We don't know, but it's only filming her from the top half, and she's not getting physical at all.
So, pretty interesting. But if you want to continue on Impact on Access TV, and then we can move forward. Or do you have anything else you want to?
Nah, I think that's pretty much covered it.
I mean, yeah.
In show.
Oh yeah, and Daniels. I mean, come on, Jesus.
I will say one thing. I've got a guy on Twitter. I'm not gonna say his name because what's the point? But whenever I probably saw it. I posted that edit of Daniels with holding the X title, current X title with the BFG background. Now, people liked it. A lot of people liked it. There's one person who's saying, I bet he's just gonna do one match and then piss off like Kazarian did. Like, for a start, they're not gonna have him show up just to wrestle Madman Fulton and then go.
No.
I think Madman's great, but that's not what he's there for. And second, let me enjoy it.
I saw that too, and I know what you mean. I don't even know if I responded to it, but it's just, look, I'm all for the understanding that Impact has let us down in the past, okay? But the times have changed. And even if, Kazarian came out from the get saying, I'm not here for the past, I'm here to deal with my present, which was Bullet Club, whatever he does. Right. So I think this is different. He's going to be at Bound for Glory. Let's enjoy it. If it's past that, awesome. If it's not, awesome. Let's just enjoy the fucking moment. I just don't understand why we got to think the worst right away. Or not worst, just think at the negative. Let's just enjoy the ride. So, all right, number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously, guess we all saw the news. Sami Callihan picked up a pretty severe injury at the last set of tapings. Broken ankle, was reportedly out till spring of next year, which is a massive shame. And obviously, a character like Sami Callihan needs to be on TV. So how does Impact work this?
Yeah, so first of all, obviously, spring 2022 is insane, and I'm sure it's killing him to not be able to wrestle or further, going forward. But he's so creative and he's such a good character, and that's the question. What can they find for him? Well, one, I want to say, I think if I read it right, he broke his ankle and then all the way up to his leg. So pretty damn severe. Had to get surgery right away. And I think Lucha down there, for those who are audio listeners, is mentioning it there, more Callihan Uncensored. Yeah, I love that kind of sense of humor. It's very interesting sense of humor. But I think he can do a lot of things. It definitely changes whatever they filmed for going forward, because I really believe it was him and Eddie going for those tag titles. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was a whole different plan, but I don't know if I want to hear "sons of bitches" every time on in commentary, but look at Brian Myers is doing. Look what Su Young's doing. Brian does wrestle, but Su hasn't, as we mentioned. So I think there's obviously going to be a place for him. I'm not worried about that. He needs to be on the television screen. I just think it'd be really cool. I'm sure he's already on creative, to be honest. I could really see him doing a Sting-like thing. Sits in the rafters, sits in the crowd, whatever, and just kind of watches. Always watching. We don't know why. They can acknowledge that he's injured. It's okay. But I think that would be really cool if they keep him off TV for just for a bit, and then he's just in the rafters, in the crowd. And just kind of, we don't know what he's doing. Maybe they don't know what he's doing. But at least it's something to get him on the screen and just be like, oh, shit, okay, there's Sami. What the hell's he doing? So, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree on that with the whole crowd thing or sitting in the rafters, whatever. Obviously, they will have to keep him off TV until he's done on crutches. Quite a while, I imagine. Obviously, I don't know. I believe he's already had surgery, which is good news. But, man, Sami needs to be on TV. He should be on TV. I wouldn't want to be in this position. You got one of your biggest stars of the company out for pretty much half a year. I couldn't imagine being in this position, let alone being in Sami's position. Know how much he knows Impact and what, but Impact are creative, very creative. So I'm sure they can figure something out for him. I wouldn't want to be in this position.
No, man, especially right before Bound for Glory. I mean, who knows what his match was, but God, that has to be a kick in the nuts. And I don't want to drag a sad man down, but it sucks. But as you said, we can sum it up with that. He's a creative dude. They're creative people at Impact. He's going to have something. And I see a couple people agreeing with me. I appreciate that. I think it's something good you can do with him that doesn't ruin his character. Because I really have started to like Sami as the anti-hero. I know at first I didn't, and I know I keep saying the sons of bitches thing. But he's toned it down. There's less bowing, and obviously now there's going to be even less bowing and stuff. So I think he's going to be in a good place. I think it opens the door for a lot, and luckily with it being Bound for Glory, we'll have, allegedly, hopefully, some big names coming in that can maybe not replace Sami by any means, but can take that spot for a little bit and do something different with it.
Fill the missing spot, yeah. Alright, so number 3. Of course, Josh Alexander is going to be, even though it hasn't been officially announced, but it will be the main event. But the discussion case for the Impact World Championship at Bound for Glory, just insane as it is. But with Josh, is this the moment that makes him? Is this the moment where finally the rest of the wrestling world will see just how good Josh Alexander is, and he is the best wrestler in the world?
So this is where I'm torn. I think pound for pound, without bias, he's top 5 in the world. And that's because I think to have he brings something completely different that none of those other 4 in that top 5 or 9 if you think he's top 10 or whatever it is. He has legitimacy. He looks the part, he acts the part, he wrestles the part. The crowd is behind him. The momentum's behind him. So if he loses, do I think it's an issue? No. I think they can get away with him not winning if there's something else, someone cashes something in later in the night or whatever it may be, even if Christian beats him. But I don't want them to go that route. And I think it'd be such a easy thing to do. Like, as much as I love Ace, I think he needs a little bit more peppering before he gets to that next level, and we'll get to that on the Bound for Glory card. But he held his own against Christian, and I thought that made him and added him to the next level. Now and his promos are getting better. I think that next thing is to get to that main event scene. So there's going to be a little bit of time. Same with Bay. I think Bay's a little bit, I don't know if he's closer than Ace, but Josh feels just like a win away. So I would say you have two guys right behind him that you want to start bringing up there, right? So let's just give it to him. Let's start this new era. Let's crown him and move forward. Now, as far as, showing, does he need this to be the best in the world? No. Does it help significantly and move it forward since we dragged our ass with Moose for so long? Even though I think Moose doesn't need the belt at this point. When he finally does win, it'll be awesome. But he's one of those characters that just, he's already explained. You see him and you're like, oh shit, okay? And I think we're starting to feel that with Josh, but I think it would put it over the top if he's our main guy and the matches for the main event title, our world title rather, are phenomenal. No pun intended. But there was a time when you knew Angle's music hit and he was defending the belt, or AJ, game over. You're sucked in, you're watching it, and that's how I feel about Josh.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It was the same with the X Division Championship. When he came out to defend that X Division Championship, you knew this, even though it'd be one hell of a match, you knew Josh wasn't losing his title. Against all the people, he has so many incredible matches. As X Division champion, he had a 60-minute Iron Man match, which could arguably be match of the year. If it's not, then there's some serious issues with that, because just an insane match. Black Taurus, Jake
real quick. If that match had fans in the crowd for that 60-minute Iron Man match, it would 5 stars. And I think that's what hindered a lot of people. So
yeah, easily. It's Bound for Glory. First of all, I can't wait to hear D'Lo shout C4 Spike, C4 Spike over and over again when Josh. I love that as it is, but in a main event for world title,
right.
When I hear that, it makes me feel that much more special. And Josh, even though I think his contract's coming up very soon, I think he's with Impact for as long as he wants to be with Impact, and he wants to be with Impact.
I don't have any inside knowledge on his contract. What I can tell you though is that the timing, and it's just very conspicuous that he goes to a Blue Jays game with D'Amore. Shortly after, he talks about he's full-time professional wrestler now. What, did they give him a briefcase of money, or did they bump up his contract? He must have re-signed an extension or something that gave him a boost. Something had to happen to the point where he is now making more money. So I'm not worried about that. Yes, but 100% the goal needs to be to re-sign him if he hasn't re-signed.
Yeah. Josh Alexander, I firmly believe he's top 3 best in the world.
Sorry?
And honestly, I'll probably get shot down on Twitter for this, but I put him above Kenny Omega. Kenny,
it's debatable.
But just a quick short on this about Kenny. He's entertaining, yes. As a wrestler, his matches, they feel the same to me. 3 moves. V-trigger, 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 Warming Danger, and Dragon Suplex. Done.
Interest of fairness, he's wrestling a new style as far as being on television. Yes, it's been a while, so we should be getting used to it, but it's not the same Kenny Omega, and if you take the injuries thing, but obviously he just wrestled Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson and destroyed. So he's great. I just think he's got what he has in the tank left, and he's going to use it for certain matches. But let's keep going so we're not over there. Let's get to Murphy AEW and straight into the Bound for Glory card.
Yeah, so came out this week that AEW are not interested in signing Murphy, Buddy Matthews. Is this Impact's is he guaranteed to be an Impact star?
Okay, so there's a few things that I kind of want to hit on as far as in that question, and then I definitely want to get to Bound for Glory. So the two things I will say is this. There has been interest in Buddy Murphy from everyone except AEW, if that's the case. Okay. This guy is one of the most talked about, underrated wrestlers on the WWE roster. Is released, and everyone's talking about him and Braun. The hint of them coming to Impact, done deal or not, has now everyone saying AEW wasn't interested in him. Fuck off. And here's the reason why. For it to go from one extreme to another just feels like, to me, that they got beat out on one. Doesn't mean we offer more money? No. Does it mean that they were 70% in, but that 30% just wasn't, you know what I mean? So, who knows? At the same time, it feels like a cop-out. It feels like he's a lock for Impact. It feels like he belongs in Impact, and maybe Tony Khan recognizes that as well, so maybe I'm wrong, maybe this is just how it is. They weren't interested. Meaning, at this time, he is not fully polished enough for them, which is, if you think about it, Murphy does need, or Matthews does need that little extra, right? He needs to find his character, he needs to reinvent himself, he needs to find out who Buddy Matthews is. Maybe he already knows, but WWE sure as fuck didn't. And that means AEW doesn't have the time to develop him, because they have all these other small guys, green guys that they need to do. He's not green, but you know what I mean. So other people that need development in different ways. So I think he comes to Impact, which is the most creative company right now in wrestling. He comes there, he polishes himself, he finds out who he is. 2-3 years later, maybe he goes there and builds his thing. But I would like to think by that time he resigns and that he's loved his time in Impact, because this motherfucker can go. Look at our roster. All the people that say we don't have main event, we don't have enough this, we don't have enough that. Look at that roster page after Bound for Glory and what it's going to be, and tell me this guy doesn't add. I'm telling you, man. I just, there's people coming in like this that I think we're going to hear a lot more of, which is, oh, AEW wasn't interested, they tried, but because that's what's going to be the rhetoric for quite a while, because they're the number one, well, maybe number two, but number one in what it seems to be in fan of, recognition right now. So the question's always going to be, why didn't you go to AEW? And this is the time, Bound for Glory, where I think people need to show them what we're about, move on to these bigger arenas, and then no one will ever talk about this again. But the fact that they would have no interest in someone who's bell to bell one of the better wrestlers on the planet, it's bullshit.
So yeah, I don't believe for a single second that AW were not interested in Buddy Matthews. There's no way. They weren't interested in him. If they showed no interest in him, then that may be one. That's really fucking stupid. And if you're not at least approaching this wrestler, then what?
Right.
What are you even doing? Buddy Murphy is. I mean, I know he was the best kept secret and all that stuff, and he was. Buddy Murphy, I mean, I think it was probably a TLC kickoff in a cruiserweight title match against, I want to say Cedric or Ali or someone on those lines, and was the best match of the night. I think it was Murphy versus Leo Rush, I think.
They've had some bangers, yeah.
Match of the on the pre-show. So, if he can do that, imagine what he can do for your company. So, if AW aren't interested, fine. Impact need to swoop in, get him, and let him show everyone that he's a star. He's so creative.
Right.
He knows what he wants.
Yeah, I think, we're hitting it on the head, and just, I'm sure they're at least, even if you give them 50% interest, they had to have some kind of interest for this guy. And if it is the fact that they just got Punk, Cole, Danielson, Ruby, Black, Andrade, and supposedly this ace up their sleeve that they have. So there's a lot of people that they just brought in. But if you're trying to make the best wrestling company as they are, I mean, this guy can't even be on your dark shows. Not saying he doesn't want it. I'm sure there's more into it, but I think the matches, and I could see some of them there. Ace versus Matthews, Bay versus Matthews, Alexander versus Matthews. You could go on and on. I think we're in for a treat with this guy.
Yeah, he's next level good. I watched his interview with Chris Van Vliet, and he knows what he wants. And Impact's a place to give him that. So moving on now to number 5.
Number 5.
Yep. So obviously the coil shot gauntlet was announced for Bound for Glory in this week's show. Rich Swann and Brian Myers are the first two in. Of course, we had so many announcements for Bound for Glory. At the Triple Threat tournament for the Triple Threat title match, Bound for Glory for the X Division Championship, Knockouts Championship, John Peraza versus Mickey James, and of course the World Championship, Christian Cage versus Josh Alexander. Just what a card already. And this coil shot has to be one of the most hotly anticipated since they started.
For sure. I'm going to take the topics down for those who are audio listeners. Ignore us or skip us, but for a second. But I'm going to pop up the Bound for Glory card as we think it was. Now, granted, we were pretty off, but we did have the Call Your Shot Battle Royal, so I'm going to answer that first for you because I think that was our main topic here. But it'd be stupid if we didn't talk about this bomb-ass card. So, the Call Your Shot Battle Royal, when you originally asked this before in the when we were talking and kind of going over stuff this morning, I was like, okay, call your shot. Yeah, okay, cool, whatever, throw it in there. But then I started to think about it. Once again, this is the first time that it feels like it's not a group of wrestlers and insert management here that goes, all right, guys, you all want something to do. Here's Bound for Glory. Call your shot. You can enter. And that's how it feels like it was always put together since Anthem came in. Bound for Glory from match 9 or 8, whatever it's going to be, all the way to 1 are going to be solid. They're going to have purposes. They're going to have storylines. They're going to be... I don't think there will be a lull whatsoever. And you would be silly to sleep on any of them. But with the Call Your Shot Battle Royal, we have 2 competitors in here, and I'm the most excited I've been yet. One, I wish Myers would mention that he won the previous Battle Royal, so he has an advantage here. I'm sure he'll mention that in the weeks to come. But him and Swan just announcing they're going to be in it, that they're excited about being in it, that what they're going to do when they win. These are great things to now make that branding we've talked about. Bound for Glory means something again. Okay? Call Your Shot Battle Royal is something now people will look forward to. As in Lockdown was something people looked forward to, or Feast or Fired was something to look forward to. This Call Your Shot Battle Royal at Bound for Glory is going to be a staple from here on out. I really believe that. And the fact that they're introducing people, or people are throwing in their names as if they're interested, and it's not just by, we'll see who comes, I think it's genius. Because now what you're doing, instead of saying, oh, shit, what do we do at Rich Swann? I mean, that's a good problem to have. But what do we do with Rich Swann? He's not really in. Oh, you know what? Let's do Battle Royal. Myers, we just gave him a title shot, but we want him to be involved, but he doesn't really have, a top 9 feud going on right now. Battle Royal. And it doesn't seem lesser. These are 2 guys who have either won a title or have gotten title shots. So it's really cool, and I really like what they're doing here. I'm always a big sucker for the Battle Royals, and I think we'll get some surprises. I know someone mentioned Bray. I don't know if they wasted on him, but it would be some shit if he won and then cashed in at the end of the night. I don't know if he's even coming in, but that would be great. As far as the rest of the card, I mean, Christian versus Josh is locked in up there at the top. Deanna versus Mickey, which we actually got right, is up there. The X Division triple threat, I'm okay with. I think having three-ways triple threats to make a finals is cool. I would have preferred if it was a Bound for Glory series or a tournament that just has 1-on-1 and the 1 and 2 seed and it's just the finals. But three of them is still cool. Has a very X Division feel to it. We don't know the stipulation yet. Is it just a natural match? One fall? We don't know. So we'll see. As long as they have cameras on the referees' heads, I'm happy. So shout out to Brian Hedberg. No, I'm really excited for that. Obviously, we got our first person going through. Did we not? Or no, we haven't had anyone yet. We announced it.
First of all,
Laredo Kid versus Trey versus Alex Zane, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who cares? I mean, I would prefer Trey because he's homegrown. Who cares? Because any of those win, I'm happy. I don't know the other two, three-way matches. I don't want to know, but I mean that's gonna be great. So we're gonna crown an X Division champion. We're gonna defend our Knockouts champion against someone who is building this storyline for months. This isn't and I know some people said, "Oh, I like when people earn title shots." Me too. But at the same time, there has to be different ways. I know you mentioned roll-ups earlier. You have to have something, always, to break up the pattern. Because if you have just a bunch of people losing on your show, or a bunch of people, getting roll-ups on the show, but too much of something is never that great. So I like that this is a blood feud that Deanna did not want to see. I thought she executed that perfectly, by the way, about she's not one of my heroes. I never, you were after my time. I like that. This isn't a dream match for me, but it's a dream match for the fans, which I really dig. So there's that. We got Josh's rise. We have the Battle Royal. I really believe that we're going to get Ace versus Christopher Daniels. I would have said, not Ego. What was their name? Bad Influence. But I think Kazarian's on that cruise with Jericho.
And I don't think Daniels and Kazarian can team together.
In life anymore. Or on AEW?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're done as a team. It's just an AEW, but
well, either way, yeah. So we're not sure. So say that is what it is. So let's type that in there. Ace Austin versus Christopher Daniels. That's so weird. All right. So, I mean, I see a lot of AJ in them. It makes sense. So we have two spots, I imagine, still to be filled up. But let's look at DK. Let's look at Good Brothers. Good Brothers had that segment. Obviously, I want to hear your point of view a little bit on this as well, as far as what we haven't talked about, but definitely what we're going to talk about. Who do you see the Good Brothers? Obviously they filmed those segments, which looked, I kind of dug it. It had like a very Aces and Eights theme music in the background, and they were just chilling. And, is what it is. There's these little things that separate it. It could get better, but once again, outside the impact zone, which I like. So who do they face? Are we seeing an AMW? Are we seeing a Wolves? Were we going to see? What were the Switchblade? The Switchblades. So, are we the Wolves? Who are we seeing here, Craig? What are you thinking?
See, I don't know. I mean, it felt like this week, especially, they were kind of building towards Sami and Eddie versus Moose and Morrissey again. But now that's not a possibility for Sami, obviously. So I've put in the group chat, Moose and Morrissey versus the Wolves, which I could see happening. So, but now I'm thinking about, I've completely forgot about the tag team titles, because now Willie and Rich, obviously Willie's going after the X Division Championship, and Rich obviously wants to go for the World Championship in the Gauntlet. So they're not really a team anymore, again, which makes no sense. So I'm struggling to think who's left. VBD looks like VBD's going to go set this up in some way.
Did Motor City never face Good Brothers? We never got that match?
They haven't, no. It must have.
Interesting.
Feels like we did. I don't know. I think we may have just...
I thought we did.
Because... That's it.
No, we haven't?
I don't think we did.
We'll have to look into that, but we're seeing a lot of people say no, we haven't. So maybe that's somewhere, because I think what it is from the promos, they've beaten everyone that Impact has thrown at them, right? That's their thing. Who haven't they? So I think it's going to be someone there, but...
It'll be someone. I reckon it'll be someone from outside the company. Especially as you look at his card, and Impact have been teasing AAA, AEW, New Japan, and we haven't really mentioned them. So maybe GD, but I think also with Hikuleo coming down, obviously he's GD's brother. Maybe that's like a test for them. Because GOD, obviously, they're one of the top stars. And they were tag team champions, but they won the tag league over there. So maybe this is kind of a test for them. How do you deal with one of our brothers? But it depends on whether we come over.
I think this is going to be one of those things that we're going to have to see play out. Maybe they filmed all backstage shit. Maybe they had to, go to plan B because of the injury to Sami. I don't know. It looked like, I agree with you. I think it felt more like Sami and Eddie versus Moose and Morrissey. But who do we just do? Moose and Morrissey? That's just such a waste if they're in a battle royal. But I feel that way about Swan and Meyer. So if it's something, prestigious, I guess they would do that. But as far as Good Brothers, I like everything I'm seeing. Motor City makes sense because we have that right now. We have Christian versus Josh. Mickey versus Deanna. Say it's Daniels versus Austin. We're having that old versus new that we've been looking for and finally integrating into our pay-per-views. So part of me says it's going to be Motor City. That makes a lot of sense. But especially if they haven't beat them technically. But if it's someone different, I just think the Wolves is just too cool to pass up.
I mean, if you look at the card, do you really think they'll go for another, like, old school versus current? I mean, you got Josh and Christian again, past and present. Donna and Mickey, past and present. If you go Ace and Daniels, past and present, is that kind of overkill?
I get what you're saying in the sense of, like, too much of a good thing. But what I really feel like is they're not talking as if it's past versus present. They're mentioning it match to match. Oh, this person has been around, but they're not really selling it as a past versus present pay-per-view. I think what they're doing is just raising the prestigiousness, is that a word? Whatever. Of Bound for Glory. I mean, I love Bound for Glory, but there's points where we were saying Slammiversary was more important. Lockdown was more important in the years past. Now Bound for Glory is super important. You have some old, mainstays that are getting that rub again and giving it to the new guy. I don't know. I just feel like it's not really like we're wheeling out, a 60-year-old Jeff Jarrett, which, fuck it. I still watch that too. But you know what I mean? It feels like none of this is forced. If it's, I don't know. It feels like the company's coming back to where it should be. I don't know, but so I think there's a lot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, it's just I don't know. I was thinking Vibe by Design aren't doing much, but again, I can see it being Dina and Doring versus Heath and Rhino.
But maybe we get
again.
When did was Heath injured at last Bound for Glory?
Yeah, in the close.
That's where he'll return, and that I don't think they'll waste a match on that, especially if he's been injured for a hot second. He's gonna be a little rusty. I mean, no matter how good he is, it just is what it is. So let him get comfortable. Throw him in there. You have VBD beating on Rhino, and he's the next man out or something. So I think that's where he could go. So that leaves 2 spots open. Good Brothers, we don't know. Decay, I see a couple people that have mentioned they really want to see Rachel and Jordan get their rematch at it.
But we don't know what's going on.
We don't know what's going on for Knockouts Knockdown. I would imagine they keep it and there's no title changes before Bound for Glory. And I think it would be silly not to have DK going as your number one, merch seller, number one group, defending their titles. I wouldn't be surprised if that's not right, AO. There. So, yeah, Grace and Rachel versus The Influence versus Bridesmaids versus DK. Showcase, well, we got to mention Savannah and Tasha as well. You need to have a spotlight on the Knockouts tag team division, which I think the 4-way match makes sense. Show that you have 4 established teams, if not 5, because I think Savannah and Tasha is great. And then at the end, the inspiration come out. Who's the next challenger? Now, granted, I prefer them to have their first feud with Influence, but who gives a shit? Just come out there, let them do the thing for the gold, and discount double check it, and announce your plea for the titles. But what are you thinking?
Man, when it comes to the Knockouts tag, I said it from the beginning. I'll keep saying it. Got to be Decay versus the Undead Bridesmaids in a dark. Has to be something like that. It's just too good of an opportunity to pass up. You have the incredible. Also, we don't know how Brandy Loren and Kimber are going to, but when it's like that type of character, that type of style, I think you can't pass this opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think that it's a great to give us something different, especially since they kind of ran through the tag division. Well, not really. I guess they haven't faced Influence and stuff, or the Bridesmaids, or DK if they come up with a group. But man, yeah, I would like to see it. I'd like to see it, because then once again we're not getting 9 matches that are all the same. We're getting a triple threat. We're getting a 4-way match. We're getting a call your shot battle royal. So we're getting all these things. I think that would add to the allure of it. And I think it would be pretty interesting. I said that in the Undead Realm, there's a bar somewhere in the Undead Realm where Allie and Ethan Page and Kiera and the Swingerellas and they're all just chilling. They're all having a good time at a bar. So I think it would be funny for a lot of different reasons to go through there. Especially maybe Kiera makes an appearance or something of that nature. I think there a lot of funny things they could do there. Allie would be funny. So a lot of cool things they could do with that.
Yeah, just don't war it, and just I want to make one prediction for the Coil Shot. I don't necessarily think he's going to win it, but I'm saying Tony Nese enters it.
I could see that. I could really see that. That's I think that's one of the reasons it's going to be, as you said, one of the most anticipated ones, because we have a purpose. We have spots are getting filled individually instead of just, here you go, we'll see who goes. And there's really no throwaways in there. And I hate to be like this, but there's no Tommy Dreamer. So the entrance, when they come down to the ring, will all be surprised by and not deflated by. Well, we're hitting the 9 o'clock mark. I could probably talk about this for another hour, but Craig's time is what it is, and we're trying to stay to 60 minutes. Thank you for tuning in. We'll wrap this up. Either way, it's a great friggin' card. If you're a new fan to the show, as we say on here, one fan at a time, one friend at a time. This is real for us. This is about building a community. So add us, subscribe, talk to us, chat with us, come in the chat group. It's fun to do that. And thank you for doing so. But with that being said, my point was Bound for Glory, October 23rd. Saturday. We'll have a pre-show for it, and we'll be releasing a lot of our week. We'll have a Bound for Glory week of a lot of content we're putting out. So stay tuned. Once again, subscribe to us, and you'll get some bells to tell you when we're doing them if you don't follow us on Twitter. But we have Christian versus Josh, Deanna versus Mickey, a triple threat to crown a new X Division champion, Decay defending, Good Brothers defending, what we think is Ace versus Daniels, and Call Your Shot Battle Royal that already has Swan and Myers in it with a lot of returns suspected. So a great card. This is the time to give Impact a chance if you're listening on the sneak, or you're not sure about admitting your love for Impact, or not sure if you even loved Impact. This is the season. This is the season. So hop on that train. We're here for you. One thing I want to mention, because I forgot. Oh, yes. Yeah, tickets are going hot. Bound for Glory is sold out besides for general admission, so get your general admission tickets there. And then a couple days of tapings. I'm not sure where they are right now. One's on a Monday, so I'm sure it's not sold out. But it is Vegas, so who knows. The one thing we didn't touch that I forgot to touch is that for those people who watch us on YouTube and stay in for the beginning to see our loading screen, or waiting screen. Last week's question, how many active Bullet Club members have stepped foot in an Impact ring? The answer was 6. The answer was 6. And Craig's question, and spoiler, there you go, pull back the curtain. Craig came up with this one as well. And it is, who in the history, 17-year history of Bound for Glory, has main evented the most times? Bound for Glory, most main events. You'll find out the answer next week if you don't have it. If you do, drop it right here. Even if you're an audio listener, drop it on the comments there. Craig, why don't you wrap us up, bud?
Yep, so of course, stay close to our socials for all of our Bound for Glory stuff coming up. And State of Impact every Tuesday. Give you news, rumours, and everything going on in the world of Impact in a very short 10-minute segment, so we don't keep you too long. Of course, follow us here and everywhere. You can see our social medias on below us, and just do the whole thing. We appreciate you. Stay tuned for more nonsense next week live.
Yes, sir. 8 o'clock start from now on. We'll have a Bound for Glory week release schedule coming this week, including some interview things, some top 10 things, unofficial Impact Wrestling board game things, and unboxing of some trading cards as well. So look out for all of our stuff. It's gonna be a great week for us, a great week for Impact Wrestling. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
What's up, everybody?
Ooh.